So fantastic to have Myra back here again. That was really, really good. You're like a natural, right?
I think that when we have great people, it always flows naturally, and
Yeah.
I'm just honored to be here.
So I've referenced going into the break 225 Fest. This will be the second year.
This will be the second year. 225 Fest 2023 was really just a dream, and we had no idea that we would see 14,000 people show up and make it a reality. So, 225 Fest is really just a celebration of 225 Day, our area code. So February 25th annually. So much like other holidays, it's always celebrated the weekend of. And this year in 2024, it falls on a Sunday. So it'll be from 12 to 6 downtown. Food trucks, live music, panel discussions. It'll be a little bit of something that everybody can even see themselves in. And we're especially excited to partner with the Council on Aging to provide a senior zone. So literally, no matter what age you are, there's something for you at 225 Fest.
So I am such a fan of ideas sparking innovation.
Yeah.
For more than 30 years, when I talk with kids, my biggest thing is never be afraid to try,
Yeah.
right? And coming up with the idea and then deciding to pursue it is one thing. Talk about that. Where did the idea come from, and what was step number one?
I think oftentimes in our community, it's so easy for us to get down on ourselves, but I think of us like the sports capital of the South. Nobody looks at the losing banners in that championship ring. You only see the winning years. So I think we need to do a better job of saying this is the wins that we have for our community. And not to be overly optimistic, but to say if we want people to invest in our community, if we want our young people to stay here, if we want our grandchildren to have a future here, we have to start changing the tone of how we talk about it. So 225 Fest is a physical manifestation and love letter to our community to say there's something to love about us, and it starts with us. I think our greatest asset is our people. So for me, step one was collaborating with a coalition of people who shared those ideas and values, relying on my support system and my parents and family and saying, hey, I have this crazy idea, but I don't think it's crazy to bet on Baton Rouge.
I believe a person's energy about himself or herself creates the reality around them. When someone knows beyond everything that they're meant to win and do and achieve, the universe brings you those opportunities to do just that.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. You talked about 14,000 people
Yeah.
being in downtown Baton Rouge,
Yeah.
celebrating Baton Rouge. How did you get such a large number?
I think really it wasn't just a crazy idea that was in the back of our mind. I think hundreds of different people said, man, I wish something would happen on this day. And that spoke to the virality of the 225 Day hashtag, because 225 Fest, before there was 225 Fest, there was 225 Day. So people were already bought into the social media or the internet side of it. So to have people cross beyond their cell phones, make that drive downtown or make it across town to say, I want to be on North 4th Street with hundreds of other people who believe in our community, I think that was what the most beautiful part to me.
What were some of the things that took place at the festival?
So in year one, we had food trucks, we had 100 vendors, we had live performances and musical guests. There was just something that was it was euphoric, that people all felt like the online response was, it felt like a family reunion. Oh, it was so safe. Oh, this is beautiful. I wish every day in Baton Rouge was like this. And that's what I want people, whether you're new here, whether you're a transplant, whether you're just here for college, whatever it is, whatever brought you to Baton Rouge, I want you to remember what made you stay here and what's going to keep you here for the next 10 years.
What's on the agenda for this year, or for 2024, I should say?
Well, first up is we've locked up Clay Young. He told me he only wanted a parking spot to come, and he said that he was going to be in perfect health and be there. So that was step number one.
Boy, that's about as low down.
And this is on the record.
That's
This
low
is
down.
on the record.
That's low
he
down.
said he just wanted a parking spot. It was a low entry rate this
Low
time.
down. And you put that on camera.
I'm just
All right.
saying, it was important. It was
Wow,
important.
okay, all right,
So,
all right.
after that, we have an amazing lineup of talent, which we'll be back to
Okay.
talk about and reveal some of those prizes, which will be first announced here. So you will want to come tune in.
That's right.
And it's going to be a phenomenal lineup. And I'm really proud of the diversity, whether it be Zydeco, whether it be rap, whether it be R&B, gospel. If you think about the phenomenal people who come from the state of Louisiana, it makes you wonder how we're last in rankings. It's not just judicial people on the Supreme Court. It's not just the Speaker of the House for the U.S. It's from Britney Spears to Boosie and YB. There's literally such a vast amount of people who make Louisiana what it is, and we do a horrible job of nurturing that culture. So I'm excited to play a small role in saying bet on Baton Rouge.
Kyle, let's give me another minute in this segment. I want to talk with you about your peer group and how can we take what you have, that energy, the persistence, and spread that, because I really do believe more young people ought to be motivated to do what you do. And I also told you, I've told you this privately, there also comes a time in seasons where some of us ahead of you need to get out of the way.
I think that far too often when we have this intergenerational conversation, people make it seem like passing the baton means that the other person is completely out of the race. I think that we need to make space for us all to at least be on the track.
But you go to the next thing.
Yeah, and you continue to elevate. But I think for those young professionals who are looking for that next thing, are looking for a reason to stay in Baton Rouge, they need to be bet on just as much as we need to be bet on Baton Rouge. For me, think the most empowering thing was people being willing to take a chance on me. And young professionals need that same opportunity to make mistakes and to make a good wage doing it. So
what's the biggest lesson you've learned doing 225 Fest? I
think the biggest lesson is to accept failure, right? Like, it is not going to be magical every single time, but the legacy and the impact is something that will live far beyond me. But those failures help make that success for sure.
Tell everybody how old you are.
I am 25.
See, that's what we need to promote more, that. And so I think it's amazing. You and I are both going to have a conversation with Tanja Miles in the next segment about what she's doing in this space for overdoses and fentanyl that's been so crazy. And then we'll talk about chasing away the holiday blues, and we'll have that conversation together. Also, don't forget to check out the audio podcast, podcast225.com. Brought it back a few weeks ago. Last week's show had a conversation about the sheriff in Caddo Parish. There you go. You see the graphic there. Very well done, Kyle. So you can check it out, podcast225.com.